This they did stoutly, and assailed their enemy so fiercely that he was dismayed beyond measure. And his line being broken, fled to the forest. In this fight there was constable taken, together with 55 other lords who owned themselves prisoners. They were given to housekeeping of squires. Great was the spoil and the horse and harness, and marvelous was the wealth they gained in their gold and ransom. So having done such great deeds in so short a space, they returned to their city joyous and content. The king looked forth from a tower. The king looked forth from a tower. He feared grievously for his men, and made his complaint of Guildeluec, who he deemed had betrayed him in his need. Upon the road he saw a great company, charged with laden and spoil. Since the number of those who returned was more than those who went forth, the king knew not again his own. He came down from the tower in doubt and in sore trouble, bidding that the gates should be made fast, and the men should mount upon the walls. For such coil as this, there was a slender warrant. A squire who was sent out came back with all speed and showed him of this adventure. He told over the story of the ambush and the tale of the prisoners. He rehearsed how the constable was taken, and that many a knight was wounded, and many brave man slain. When the king might give credence thereto, he had more joy ever king before. He got him from his tower, and going before Eliduc, he praised him to his face, and rendered him the captives as a gift. Eliduc gave him a king's bounty to his men. He bestowed on them besides all harness and spoil, keeping for his part. But 3 knights who had won much honor in the battle from this day, the king loved and cherished Eliduc very dearly. He held the knight and his company for a full year in his service, and at the end of the year, such faith he in the knight's loyalty, he appointed him sentinel of and constable of his realm. Eliduc was not only brave and wary captain, he was also a courageous gentleman, right goodly to behold. That fair maiden, the daughter of the king, heard of his deeds and desired to see his face, because of the good men spake of him. She sent her privy chamberlain to the knight, praying to him to come to her house, so that she might find solace herself with the story of his deeds. For greatly she wondered that he had no care for her friendship. Eliduc gave answer to the chamberlain that he would ride forthwith, since he desired to meet so high a dame. He bade his squire to saddle his destrier and rode to the palace to have speech with the lady. Eliduc stood without the lady's chamber and prayed to the chamberlain to tell the dame that he had come according to her wish. The chamberlain came forth with a smiling face, straightway led him in the chamber. When the princess saw the knight, she cherished him very sweetly, and welcomed him in the most honorable fashion. The king gazed upon the lady, who was passing fair to see. He thanked her courteously that she was pleased to permit him to have speech with her so high a princess. Guilliadun took Eliduc by the hand and seated him upon the bed near her side. They spake together of many things, for each found much to say. The maiden looked closely into the knight's face, upon the knight, his face and semblance, to her heart. That she said she had never before had she beheld so comely a man. Her eyes might find no blemish in his person. Love knocked upon her heart, requiring her to love. Since her time had come, she sighed, and her face lost its fair color. But she cared only to hide her trouble from the knight, lest he should think her less maidenly therefore. When they had talked together for a great space, Eliduc took his leave and went his way. The lady would have kept him longer, but since she did not dare, she allowed him to depart. Guildeluec returned to his lodgings very pensive and deep in thought. He called to mind that the fair maiden, the daughter of the king, was so sweetly had bidden him to her side. She had kissed him farewell with the sighs that were sweeter still. He repented him right earnestly that he had lived so long while in the land without seeking her face. But he promised that often he would enter her palace now. He remembered the wife whom he had left his own house. He recalled the parting between them and the covenant he had made, that good faith and stainless honor should be betwixt the twain. But the maiden from whom he came was willing to take him as her knight. If such was her will, might any pluck him from her land? All night long, the fair maiden, the daughter of the king, had neither rest nor sleep. She rose very early in the morning, and commanding her chamberlain, opened out to him all that was in her heart. She leaned her brow against the casement. By my faith, she said, I am fallen into a deep ditch, and sorrows has come upon me. I love Eliduc, the good knight, whom my father made his sentinel. I love him so dearly that I turn the whole night upon my bed and cannot close my eyes nor sleep. If he assured me of his heart and loved me again, all my pleasures should be found in his happiness. Great might be his profit, for he would become king of this realm, and little enough is it for his deserts. So courteous is he and wise. If he have nothing better than friendship to give me, I choose death before life. So deep is my distress. I choose death before life. So deep is my distress. When the princess had spoken what it pleased her to say, the chamberlain whom she had bidden gave her loyal counsel. Lady, said he, since you have set your heart upon this knight, send him now, if so it please you, some goodly gift, girdle, or scarf, or ring. If he receives the gift with delight, rejoicing in your favor, you may be assured he loves you. If there is no emperor under heaven, if he were tendered by your tenderness, but would go more lightly for your grace. The damsel hearkened to the counsel of the chamberlain, made for reply. If only I knew that he desired my love. If only I knew that he desired my love. Did ever maiden woo her knight before, by asking whether he loved or hated her? What if he make out men a mock and a jest in the ears of his friends? If the secrets of the heart were written on the face. But get you ready. You must go, for you must go at once." "Lady," answered the chamberlain, "I am ready to do your bidding. You must greet the knight 100 times in my name, and will place my girdle in his hands, and this my golden ring." When the chamberlain had gone upon his errand, the maiden was so sick at heart that for a little she would have bidden him return. Nevertheless, she let him go his way. She eased her shame with words. "Alas, what has come upon me, that I should put my heart upon a stranger? I know nothing of his folk, whether they may be mean or high, nor do I know whether he will part swiftly as he came. I have done foolishly, and am worthy of blame, since I have bestowed my love very lightly. I spoke to him yesterday for the first time, and now I pray him for his love. Doubtless he will make me a song. Yet, if he be the courteous gentleman I believe him, he will understand and not deal hardly with me. At least the dice are cast, and if he may not love me, I shall know myself the most woeful of ladies, and never taste of all the joy in the days of my life." Whilst the maiden lamented in this fashion, the chamberlain hastened to the lodging of Guildeluec. He came before the knight, having saluted him in his lady's name, and gave him the ring. Sorry, this is really hard literature. He gave to his hand the ring and the girdle. The knight thanked him earnestly for the gifts. He placed the ring on his finger, and the girdle he girt about his body. He said no more to the chamberlain, nor asked him any questions, save only that he proffered him a gift. This messenger might not have, and returned to the way he came. The chamberlain entered in the palace. They found the princess within her chamber. He greeted her on the part of the knight, and thanked her for her bounty. "Diva, diva," cried the lady hastily, "hide nothing from me. He does not love me, or does he? Does he love me, or does he not?" "Lady," answered the chamberlain, "as I deem, he loves you, and truly. Guildeluec is no conser with his words. I hold him for a discreet and prudent gentleman, who knows well how to hide what is in his heart. I gave him greeting in your name, and granted him your gifts, and set the ring upon his finger, and as your girdle. He girt it upon him, and belted it tightly to his middle. I said no more to him, nor he to me. But if he received your gifts and tenderness, I am more the deceived. Lady, I have told you his words. I cannot tell you his thoughts. Only mark carefully what I am about to say. If Guildeluec had not a richer gift to offer, he would not have taken your present by my hand." "If it pleases you to jest," said the lady, "I know well that Guildeluec does not altogether hate me, since my only fault is to cherish him too fondly. Should he hate me, he would indeed be blameworthy. Never again by you, or by another, I will require him aught, or look to him for comfort. He shall see a maiden's love in no slight thing, lightly given and lightly taken again. But perchance he will not dwell in the realm so long as to know of the matter. Lady, the knight has covenanted to serve the king in all his loyalty for the space of a year. You have full leisure to tell whatever you desire him to learn. When the maiden heard that Guildeluec remained in the country, she rejoiced very greatly. She was glad to hear that the knight would sojourn a while in her city, for she knew not the torment he endured since first he looked upon her. He had neither peace nor delight, for he could not get her from his mind. He reproached himself bitterly, called to remembrance the covenant he made with his wife when he departed from his own land, and that would never be false to his oath. But his heart was captive now, in a very strong prison. He desired greatly to be loyal and honest, but could not deny his love for the maiden Guilliadun, so frank and so fair. Guildeluec strove to his honor required. He had speech and sight of the lady, and did not refuse her kiss and embrace. He never spoke of love, and was so diligent to offend in nothing. He was careful in this, because he would keep faith with his wife, and would not attempt no matter against the king. Very grievously he pained himself, but at the end he might do no more. Guildeluec caused his horse to be saddled, calling his companions about, rode to the castle to get the audience of the king. He considered, too, that he might see his lady, and learn what was in her heart. It was the honor of meat, and the king, having risen from the table and entered in his daughter's chamber. The king was at chess with a lord who had but come over sea. The lady sat near the board to watch the movements of the game. When Guildeluec came for the prince, he welcomed him gladly, bidding him to seat himself close at hand. Afterward, he turned to his daughter and said, "Princess, it becomes you to have a closer friendship with this lord, to treat him well and worshipfully. Amongst 500 there is no better knight than he." When the maiden had listened demurely to her father's commandment, there was no gare lady than she. She rose lightly to her feet, and taking the knight a little from the others, seated him at her side. They remained silent because of the greatness of their love, and she did not dare to speak at first. And to him the maid was more dreadful than a knight in mail. At the end, Guildeluec thanked her.